The doctor signed the release form on a Thursday morning. I watched her pen move across the paper, quick and efficient. "Everything looks good," she said. "Blood work came back normal. Physical exam is clear. You're cleared to return to work whenever you're ready." "Okay. Take it easy for the first few days. Listen to your body. But there's no medical reason you can't resume normal activities." She looked up from the form. "Any questions?" "No." "Great. Make a follow-up appointment for 3 months from now. Standard check-in." She handed me the form and shook my hand. Her grip was firm and brief. I walked out of the office and down to the parking garage, got in my car and sat there for a moment, looking at the paperwork on the passenger seat. Cleared. Normal. Fine. I started the car and drove home. That evening, my brother called. "Hey, how'd the appointment go?" "Good. Doc cleared me." "That's great. So you can go back to work?" "Yeah." "Starting Monday." "Awesome. I'm really glad to hear it. We should celebrate. Want to grab dinner this weekend?" "Sure. Saturday work?" "Yeah." "Perfect. I'll text you the details. This is really good news." After we hung up, I sat on my couch. Through the window, I could see the street. People walking, cars passing, evening light fading. Everything continuing like it always had. Saturday, I met my brother at a restaurant downtown. He was already there when I arrived, sitting at a table near the back. "There you are." He stood up and hugged me. "You look good, really. Much better than last time I saw you." "Thanks." We sat down and ordered drinks. He got a beer. I got water. "So tell me everything. How are you feeling? Really feeling?" "I'm fine. The doctor said everything checked out." "I know, but how do you feel?" "Not what the doctor said." "I feel fine." He studied my face for a moment, then nodded. "Good. That's really good. Mom's been worried sick, you know. We all have been." "I know. But I'm okay now." "Are you going to call her? Let her know you got cleared?" "I'll call her tomorrow." The server came and took our food orders. My brother got a steak. I ordered pasta. "So Monday you're back at work?" he asked after the server left. "That's the plan." "How do you feel about that?" "It's fine. I've been off long enough. Don't push yourself too hard. They'll understand if you need to ease back in. I'll be fine." We talked about other things while we ate. His kids, his work, a vacation he was planning for next month. Normal conversation, easy topics. When the check came, he insisted on paying. My treat, celebration dinner. "You don't have to." "I want to. Just let me do this." I let him pay. In the parking lot, he hugged me again. "I'm really glad you're okay," he said. "Really glad." "Me too." I drove home and spent the rest of the evening alone. Sunday, I called my mother like I'd said I would. "Hello?" "Hi, Mom. It's me." "Oh, honey. How are you? Your brother said you had a doctor's appointment. What did they say?" "Everything's fine. I'm cleared to go back to work." "Oh, thank God. That's wonderful news. Are you sure you're ready, though? You shouldn't rush it." "I'm ready. It's been almost 6 weeks." "I know. I just worry. You've been through so much." "I'm fine, Mom. Really." "Well, if you say so, but promise me you'll take care of yourself. Don't overdo it." "I promise." "And you'll call me if you need anything?" "Of course." We talked for a few more minutes. She told me about a book she was reading, about the weather, about a casserole recipe she'd tried. Before we hung up, she said it again. "I'm so glad you're okay." Me too. Monday morning, I woke up early, got dressed, made coffee, drove to the office. In the parking lot, I sat in my car for a few minutes, looking at the building, at people walking in, at the normalcy of it all. Then I got out and went inside. The receptionist smiled when she saw me. "Welcome back. We've missed you." "Thanks. Good to be back." I took the elevator to the 3rd floor. walked to my desk. Everything was exactly where I'd left it. Computer, files, coffee mug. My manager came by within the first hour. "Hey, great to see you. How are you feeling?" "Good. Ready to be back." That's what we like to hear. Don't worry about jumping right in. Take your time getting caught up, and let me know if you need anything, okay? "Will do." She smiled and walked away. Throughout the morning, people stopped by. Coworkers saying welcome back, asking how I was doing, saying they were glad to see me. I said thank you, said I was good, said it was good to be back. Everyone seemed satisfied with these answers. At lunch, I went to the cafeteria, got a sandwich, sat at a table by the window. 2 people from accounting sat down at the table next to mine. "Did you hear? Mark's back." "I saw him this morning. Looks good." "Yeah, glad that whole thing is over. Must have been scary." "I can't even imagine, but he seems fine now." "That's good. That's really good." They moved on to other topics. I ate my sandwich and looked out the window. After work, I went to the grocery store. The same one I always went to. Walked the same aisles. Got the same things. At the checkout, the cashier was someone I recognized, an older woman who'd been working there for years. "Haven't seen you in a while," she said, scanning my items. "I was away for a bit." "Vacation?" "Something like that." "Well, welcome back. That'll be $34.52. I paid and left. At home, I unpacked the groceries, made dinner, ate at the kitchen table. My phone buzzed. A text from my brother. "How was the first day back?" "Good, fine. Glad to hear it." "You settling back in okay?" "Yeah. Let me know if you need anything." "Thanks." I set the phone down. That evening I sat on my couch, turned on the television but didn't really watch it. Thought about the day, about all the people who'd said welcome back, who'd said they were glad I was okay, who treated it like everything was back to normal now. They believed I was fine. The doctor believed I was fine. My family believed I was fine. Everyone believed I was fine. I looked at my hands, at the remote in my right hand, at the way my fingers held it without thinking, everything working, everything functioning, everything normal. I set the remote down, got up, and went to the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror. Same face, same person. Everyone said I was fine. I turned off the light and went to bed, lay there in the dark, everything fine, everyone satisfied, everything back to normal. I closed my eyes, but something in me knew. Knew without being able to say what or why or how. Just knew I wasn't fine. The second week back at work, my team had a meeting to review the quarterly numbers. 12 people around a conference table. Coffee, pastries someone had brought, the usual setup. My manager went through the slides, revenue, projections, areas for improvement. "Any questions?" she asked at the end. A few people asked about specific line items, about timelines, standard questions. "Mark, you've been quiet." "Any thoughts?" I looked up from my notes. Everyone was looking at me. "No, it all looks good." "You sure? You usually have opinions on the forecast." "I think the forecast is reasonable." She waited, like she expected more. When I didn't say anything else, she nodded and moved on. After the meeting, Sarah from the team caught up with me in the hallway. "Hey, you doing okay?" "Yeah, why?" "I don't know. You just seem subdued, I guess. Not your usual self." "Just getting back into the rhythm." "It's been a few weeks." "Right, of course." She smiled. "Well, a bunch of us are getting drinks Friday after work. You should come. It would be good to have you there." "Maybe. I'll see how the week goes." "No pressure, but we'd love to see you." "Thanks." She walked away and I went back to my desk. I didn't go to drinks on Friday. Sent a text to the group saying I was tired and needed to rest. Several people responded saying they understood, saying to take care of myself, saying there would be other times. I spent Friday evening at home, made dinner, watched television, went to bed early. Saturday, my mother called. "Hi, honey. How's your second week going?" "Good. Getting back into the routine." "I'm so glad. You sound better. More like yourself." "Do I?" "Yes. Much better than a few weeks ago. I was so worried then." "You don't need to worry anymore. I'm fine." "I know. I know you are. It's just hard not to worry. You're my son." We talked about her week. About the garden, about a neighbor who'd moved away, small things that filled the conversation. "Are you eating well?" she asked. "Getting enough sleep?" "Yes, Mom." "And you're not overdoing it at work?" "No, I'm taking it easy." "Good. That's good. I'm proud of you, you know, for how you're handling everything." I didn't know what to say to that. "Thanks," I said eventually. "Well, I should let you go. But call me anytime, okay? Even just to chat." "I will." After we hung up, I sat on the couch, thought about what she'd said, that I sounded more like myself. What did that mean? What did myself sound like? I didn't know anymore. Sunday afternoon, my brother and his wife invited me over for a barbecue. Family thing. Their kids. My parents were there too. Everyone was cheerful, talking and laughing. The kids running around in the backyard. My mother hugged me when I arrived, held on a little longer than necessary. "You look wonderful," she said. "Doesn't he look wonderful?" "He looks good," my father said, shook my hand. "Good to see you up and about." "Good to be here." We ate burgers and hot dogs, sat around the patio table. Normal family gathering. My nephew, who was 6, came over and tugged on my sleeve. "Uncle Mark, want to play catch?" I looked at the baseball glove he was holding out to me. "Sure." We went out into the yard, threw the ball back and forth. He talked the whole time. About school. About his friend who had a dog. About wanting to play Little League. I threw the ball and caught the ball and made appropriate responses. After a while, my brother came over. "I can take over if you're tired." "I'm fine." "You sure? You don't have to push yourself." "I'm not pushing. We're just throwing a ball." He nodded, but stayed nearby, watching. Later, sitting at the table while my mother brought out dessert, my sister-in-law asked how work was going. "It's good. Busy, but good." "Are they being understanding about easing back in?" "Yeah, everyone's been really supportive." "That's great. You're lucky to have a good team." "I am." "And you're feeling okay, physically?" "Yeah, the doctor cleared me. Everything's fine." "Well, you look great, really. Doesn't he look great?" She directed this at my brother. He agreed. Everyone agreed. I ate my dessert and let the conversation move on to other topics. When I left, my mother walked me to my car. "I'm so happy to see you doing so well," she said. "For a while there, I didn't know if—" She stopped. "But you're okay now. That's what matters." "I'm okay." She hugged me again. "Drive safe." I drove home as the sun was setting. The streets were quiet. At home, I changed into comfortable clothes, sat on the couch, thought about the day, about all the conversations, about everyone saying I looked good, that I seemed better, that they were glad I was okay, about how I'd agreed with all of it. Yes, I'm fine. Yes, work is good. Yes, I'm doing well. Over and over, the same responses, the same reassurances, and everyone believed them. Everyone was satisfied. Everyone felt better knowing I was better. But each time I said it, the words felt more automatic, more rehearsed, like lines I'd memorized for a role I was playing. The next week at work followed the same pattern. "How are you doing?" "Fine." "Everything going okay?" "Yes." Need anything? No, I'm good. People stopped asking as much. Stopped checking in. I'd been back almost 3 weeks now. Long enough that my presence was normal again. Expected. Which made it easier in some ways. Fewer conversations to navigate. Fewer reassurances to give, but also harder. Because now I had to maintain it without prompting. Had to remember to smile at appropriate times, to engage in small talk, to show interest in things people said. It was exhausting. Thursday afternoon, David stopped by my desk. Hey, a few of us are grabbing lunch at that Thai place. Want to come? I brought lunch today. Oh, well, maybe next time? Yeah, maybe. He hesitated. You know, if you ever want to grab coffee or something, just to talk, I'm around. Thanks, I appreciate it. I mean it, anytime. I know. He left and I ate my lunch at my desk. Salad from home, efficient, quiet. That evening I went to the grocery store. Same routine, same aisles. The cashier, the older woman who'd asked about my vacation, smiled when she saw me. Back again, settling into your routine, huh? Yeah. That's good. Routines are good. Keep us sane. She scanned my items. I paid. Left. At home, I cooked dinner, ate at the table, cleaned up. My phone buzzed. A text from Sarah at work. Missing you at team events. Hope everything's okay. I looked at the message for a long time, typed, everything's fine, just tired lately. She responded, totally understand. Take care of yourself. I set the phone down, sat in the quiet apartment, thought about how easy it had become. The responses, the reassurances, the performance of being fine. 3 weeks ago it had felt difficult, like I was actively lying. Now it felt routine, natural, like something I just did without thinking. Someone asks how I am. I say fine. Someone asks if I need anything. I say no. Someone says I look good. I say thank you. Over and over. The same script. And everyone accepted it. Everyone moved on. Everyone went back to their own lives, satisfied that I was okay. I got up and went to the bathroom, brushed my teeth, looked at my face in the mirror, practiced a smile, the kind you give when someone says something pleasant. Neutral, appropriate. It looked real enough. I turned off the light, got into bed, lay there in the dark. Tomorrow I'd do it again, and the day after, and the day after that. Being fine, saying fine, performing fine. Until I couldn't remember anymore what the difference was between performing it and being it, if there even was a difference anymore. I stopped sleeping through the night around the 4th week. Not dramatically. I'd fall asleep around 11, then wake up at 2 or 3, wide awake, alert in a way that felt wrong for that hour. I'd lie there for a while, sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. Then I'd get up, walk through the apartment, kitchen, living room, back to bedroom. Not looking for anything, just moving. Eventually I'd go back to bed. Sometimes I'd sleep again, sometimes I wouldn't. In the morning my alarm would go off and I'd get up and go to work like normal. No one could tell. I didn't look tired, didn't feel tired exactly, just awake when I shouldn't be. At work, I started noticing gaps in my attention. I'd be in a meeting and realize I hadn't heard the last 5 minutes of conversation. Or I'd be reading an email and get to the end without retaining any of it. Not because I was distracted by something else. There was nothing else. Just absence where attention should be. I'd have to reread things, ask people to repeat themselves, apologize for not catching what they'd said. You okay? My manager asked, after I'd asked her to repeat something for the 2nd time in one conversation. Yeah, sorry, just zoned out for a second. You sure you're not overdoing it? We can adjust your workload if you need. No, I'm fine, just had a long night. She looked at me carefully but nodded. I started keeping lists, writing things down immediately so I wouldn't forget. Tasks, deadlines, conversations I needed to follow up on. Things I used to hold in my head easily now required external storage. One evening I was making dinner and realized I'd been standing at the counter for several minutes, knife in hand. Vegetables on the cutting board, not moving, just standing there. I looked at the clock. It was 6:40. The last thing I remembered clearly was it being 6:30. 10 minutes. Gone. I finished making dinner, ate it, cleaned up, tried not to think about the missing time. The next day at work, I caught myself doing it again. Sitting at my desk, computer screen in front of me, document open, cursor blinking. No memory of the last few minutes. I looked around. No one had noticed. Everyone was focused on their own work. I went back to the document, reread the last paragraph I'd written. Continued. That weekend, I went to the gym. First time since I'd been back. I used to go 3 times a week, had a routine, weights, cardio, stretching. Now I stood in the locker room getting ready and couldn't remember the routine. Not forgotten exactly, more like it belonged to someone else. Someone I used to be who did things like this. I went out to the weight area anyway. Did some basic exercises. Nothing structured, just movement. After 30 minutes, I left. At home, I showered and sat on the couch. Tried to read a book I'd started before. Got through 3 pages without absorbing anything. Set it down. Turned on the television. Watched something. Couldn't have said what it was 5 minutes after it ended. My phone rang. My sister. Hey, wanna grab lunch tomorrow? Sure. Great. That place on Capitol Hill? The one with the good sandwiches? Okay. 1 o'clock work? Yeah. Perfect. See you then. Sunday at 1, I met her at the restaurant. She was already there. Waved when she saw me. Hey, you look good. Thanks. We ordered. She talked about her week, about work, about a coworker who was driving her crazy. I nodded and made appropriate sounds. You're quiet today, she said after a while. Am I? More than usual. Everything okay? Yeah, just tired. You're always tired lately. I know. I think I'm just not sleeping great. Have you talked to a doctor about that? It's not that bad, just waking up sometimes in the night. That's been happening a lot? Sometimes. She looked at me carefully. Are you having nightmares? No. You sure? I'm sure. I just wake up. No reason. She didn't look convinced, but let it go. We finished lunch, walked to our cars together. Call me if you need anything, she said, even if it's just to talk, or not talk. Whatever helps. I will. I drove home. Spent the rest of the day doing small tasks, laundry, cleaning, things that needed doing. But even doing them, I felt separate from the action, like I was watching someone else fold clothes, someone else wash dishes, present but not inhabiting it. That night I lay in bed and tried to identify what was wrong. Not my health. The doctor had cleared that. Not my life circumstances. Job was fine. Apartment was fine. Family was fine. Not my behavior. I was functioning. Going to work. Maintaining routines. Showing up where I needed to show up. From the outside, everything was fine. But inside, there was something missing. Not pain, not fear, not sadness, just absence. Like someone had reached in and removed something essential. Something that made experiences feel real instead of observed. That made the present moment feel occupied instead of distant. I didn't know what to call it. Didn't know how to explain it to anyone, even if I wanted to. How do you describe a missing thing you can't identify? I woke up at 2:30 that night. lay there for a while, got up, walked through the apartment, stood at the kitchen window looking out at the empty street. Somewhere in the distance, sirens, then quiet again. I stood there until I got cold, then went back to bed. The next morning I went to work, said good morning to people, got coffee, sat at my desk. David stopped by around 10. Hey, we're ordering lunch from that Italian place. You in? No thanks, I brought something. You sure? My treat. I'm sure. Thanks though. He nodded and walked away. I ate my lunch alone at my desk, same as I'd been doing for weeks now. It was easier this way. Fewer interactions to navigate. Fewer moments where I had to make my responses match what people expected. In the afternoon, I had a one-on-one with my manager. How are you feeling about your workload? She asked. It's manageable. You're keeping up okay? Yes. Good. And how are you feeling in general? Settling back in? Yeah, it's going well. She looked at her notes. Your work quality is good. No concerns there. I guess I'm just noticing you're less engaged in team activities. Less social than you used to be. I'm just focused on catching up. I understand. But don't forget the social part matters too. Team cohesion. Collaboration. I'll work on that. I'm not criticizing. Just want to make sure you're okay. That you're not isolating yourself. I'm not isolating, just busy. She nodded. Okay, well, let me know if you need anything. That evening I drove home through traffic, radio on but not really hearing it. At home I made dinner, ate it, cleaned up, sat on the couch, looked around my apartment, at the furniture, the books, the familiar objects that made up my space. Everything in its place, everything functioning, everything fine, except me. I was the thing that wasn't fine, the thing that was missing something, the thing that had become a performance of itself. And the worst part was that the performance worked. Everyone believed it. Everyone was satisfied. As long as I showed up, as long as I said the right things, as long as I appeared functional, no one could see what was happening inside. No one could see the gaps, the absences, the distance between me and my own life. They saw me working, saw me talking, saw me existing, and that was enough for them to conclude I was fine. But I knew. Sitting there in my quiet apartment, in my functional life, in my carefully maintained routine, I knew. Being fine was something I did, not something I was, and I didn't know how to explain the difference to anyone, or if the difference even mattered, as long as I could keep doing it, as long as I could keep being fine on the outside. Maybe what happened on the inside didn't matter at all. 2 months after going back to work, I stopped trying to explain. Not that I'd been explaining much to begin with, but there had been moments, small attempts to indicate that something wasn't quite right. I'm tired. I'm not sleeping well. I'm still adjusting. Each time, people had nodded sympathetically, offered advice, said it was normal, said it would get better with time. After a while, I realized they needed me to be fine more than I needed them to understand I wasn't. So I stopped mentioning it. My mother called every week. The conversations followed the same pattern. How are you? Good. Work's busy. Are you taking care of yourself? Yes. You sound good. You sound like yourself again. Thanks, Mom. She wanted me to be myself again. Needed it, maybe. So that's what I gave her. The version of myself that sounded right, that said the right things. That reassured her everything had returned to normal. It was easier than trying to articulate something I didn't fully understand myself. My brother stopped by one Saturday afternoon, unannounced. I was in the neighborhood, he said when I opened the door. He wasn't in the neighborhood, but I let him in anyway. We sat in the living room, He looked around like he was cataloging something. Place looks good. Clean. Thanks. You keeping busy? Work mostly, the usual. He nodded, looked at me carefully. You seem different. Different how? I don't know. Quieter, maybe. More withdrawn. I've always been quiet. Not like this. He paused. Are you doing okay? Really? I'm fine. Everyone keeps saying that. You're fine. The doctor says you're fine. But I'm your brother. I know you. And something feels off. I looked at him, at his concerned face, his genuine worry. I could have told him then. Could have tried to explain the gaps, the absences, the feeling of being separate from my own life. But what would I say? That everything was fine except I didn't feel like myself anymore? That I was functioning but not present? That I was going through all the motions while feeling like I was watching from somewhere else? It sounded crazy even thinking it. And what could he do with that information anyway? Worry more? Try to fix something that wasn't broken in any way he could see? I appreciate you checking on me, I said. But I'm okay. Just still finding my rhythm. He didn't look satisfied, but he nodded. All right. But if that changes, I'll let you know. He left after an hour, hugged me at the door, told me to call any time. I closed the door and stood in my apartment, alone again. It was easier this way. At work, I stopped joining team lunches entirely, stopped accepting invitations to happy hours, stopped participating in the casual socializing that happened in the break room. People noticed. But after a few weeks of consistent decline, they stopped inviting me, which was fine. Better even. Sarah stopped by my desk one afternoon. Hey, we're having a thing for Jennifer's birthday next Friday. It would mean a lot if you came. I'll try. I know you've been busy, but we miss you. The team misses you. I've just been focused on work. I get that, but you're part of the team, more than just work. I nodded. I'll see what I can do. I didn't go to Jennifer's birthday thing. Sent a card. Made an excuse about not feeling well. Jennifer sent me a thank you text for the card. Said she hoped I felt better soon. I responded that I did. The lie came easily now. My manager called me in for a check-in around the 3-month mark. Your work continues to be solid, she said. No complaints there. But I'm noticing you're not engaging much with the team. I'm focused on my tasks. I understand, but part of your role involves collaboration, team dynamics.
That's been missing lately. I'll work on that. Is everything okay? Outside of work? Everything's fine. She looked at me for a long moment. You know, if you need additional time off, or if you need to adjust your schedule, we can make accommodations. I don't need accommodations. I'm doing my job. You are. I'm not suggesting otherwise. I just want to make sure you have what you need. I have what I need. She nodded slowly. Okay. Well, the offer stands.
That evening, I sat in my car in the parking lot after work, watched other people leave, walking to their cars in groups, talking, laughing, living their lives in a way that seemed effortless. I didn't know how they did it anymore. How to be present like that. How to engage without feeling like every interaction required conscious effort. I drove home, made dinner, ate alone. My sister texted asking if I wanted to come to her place for dinner next weekend. Casual thing. Just us. I said I'd let her know. She responded, "You always say that, and then you don't come." I stared at the message. She was right. I'd been saying that for weeks now, putting things off, making excuses. I typed, "I'm sorry, I've just been really tired." She wrote back, "I know, but I miss you, and I worry." I didn't respond to that. What could I say? That I was fine? That I'd come next time? More lies, more reassurances that would satisfy her temporarily, but changed nothing. I set the phone down, sat in the quiet apartment, thought about all the people who cared about me, who wanted me to be okay, who needed me to be okay, and how I kept telling them I was. Because that's what they needed to hear, what they could handle hearing. The truth, that I was functioning but empty, present but absent, alive but not living, wasn't something they could do anything with. It would just make them worry more, try harder to fix something that maybe couldn't be fixed, or maybe wasn't even broken in a way that mattered. I was going to work, paying bills, maintaining my life. By all practical measures, I was fine. The rest of it, the internal experience, the missing piece, the distance I felt from everything, maybe that was just how it was now. Maybe this was what fine looked like after. Not happy, not whole, not the person I was before. Just functional, just maintaining, just continuing. That night I woke up at 2:30 like I'd been doing for weeks. Lay in the dark for a while, got up, walked through the apartment, stood at the kitchen window. Outside, the city was quiet. A few cars passing, street lights, empty sidewalks, everyone else sleeping, everyone else fine, and me standing here awake, watching, separate. I thought about tomorrow, about going to work, about the interactions I'd navigate, about the version of myself I'd perform, about how no one would know the difference between the performance and the person. Because I wasn't even sure anymore if there was a difference. I stood there until I got cold, then went back to bed, lay in the dark. Tomorrow I'd wake up, go to work, say I was fine, and everyone would believe me, because being fine was what I did now, the only thing I knew how to do. And if something else was missing, something essential, something unnamed, that was mine to carry, alone, in the quiet spaces between the things I said and the person I appeared to be, where no one else could see, where it didn't matter to anyone but me, and maybe not even to me anymore. I closed my eyes, waited for morning, for another day of being fine, for another day of carrying what no one else could see, what no one else needed to see, what I'd learned to carry alone.